just to show this, we're going to just invite my friend Paul. We'll learn a bit about him and see what hope he has found. For that question, Paul, can you let people know who you are and where you're from?
My name's Paul. I'm from Wigan.
You're from Wigan. What is there anything good in Wigan to go to?
Oh, we've got the famous Wigan Pier. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about that big and it just sticks out of the canal, but hey.
Yeah. And what do you do in life, Paul?
I'm a supply teacher most days of the week, and then the other day I do some evangelism, a bit like this.
Okay. Do you find working in a school hard?
Yes, yeah, it can be very tricky. Basically, as a supply teacher, you walk into the classroom and the kids are like, hey, supply teacher, oh, we're going to have a laugh today, it's going to be great.
So you're the target,
Yeah. Oh. So you've got to go in there and kind of convince them to behave on the day, but they know that there's not going to be too much consequences for misbehaviour.
So in that world, you're a brave man, and then you're out on the street, which again, it's a bit of a crazy stuff.
That, to be honest.
So this is easier than working in a school.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, Paul, why would you come on the street of Southport doing this, even if it's not as bad as being in a school?
Well, on a Sunday I'll go to church, I love going to church, and I'd love it if more people went to church, but the truth of it is, not a lot of people do go to church. So when I'm starting church, thinking, well, people come to church, how can I get the message out to them? Then it's here, isn't it? So you've got to come out here and let them know, because they're not coming and getting the great message in church. So,
what is this message in church? Is this be nice to people? Is this try and do good things? What are you talking about there, Paul?
You do get the odd sermon that touches on those kind of things, for sure. But the really, really great news is that you don't have to do any of those things. And you get a lot of different religions out there that says, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to do the other. It's all about how much money you've given, it's about how many doors you've knocked on, all this is it. If you do all these good things, you just might be good enough to get to heaven. That's not great news, because it's hard being good.
Okay, that is a good question. You said maybe get to heaven if you do all those good things. Can you do it by doing all those good things?
You can't, I'm afraid. There's no amount of goodness you can get you to heaven because you've still got badness in you.
Okay, so that's a big X factor. Can't get there through that way. But how can you get there, Paul?
Well, you can get there by sheer trust in one man. One man, putting your complete trust in one person who was good, the only one who has been not just good but absolutely perfect. Putting your trust in him can get you to heaven.
Is it? So why is this? What is this person affect you?
Well, the fact he was good meant that he had no sin in him at all, and that means that his life was not demanded of him. You see, we all die because of sin. Yeah, it might be some disease or whatever that's in the world because of sin, but this guy didn't do a single thing wrong, and actually would have lived forever if he hadn't laid his life down. So that meant he was able to take on board all my sin, all the wrong things that I have done, and he could pay for my sins and your sins, and he did it on a cross.
Okay, so you have, so you saying this message, Paul, of this Jesus has died on the cross for you. That's a nice message. How do you know that that's true, Paul?
Well, because it's recorded in loads of ancient historical manuscripts that this man Jesus died, but it's also recorded that he rose again. And some other historical documents say that all these believers said that they witnessed him being alive as well. And the thing is, the change in their lives is phenomenal. These guys went from being terrified of dying to actually being told, right, stop preaching about the resurrection of Jesus, otherwise we're going to kill you. Do you know what they did? They carried on speaking about the resurrection of Jesus, and they were killed.
So you're saying these witnesses who saw him die and raised, after being threatened, still did it anyway and died. So it wasn't like a big, oh, we're going to get rich here if we believe in Jesus. Okay. So, Paul, that's interesting to say, but isn't it just that you've grown up as a Christian? Or
I did not grow up as a Christian, no. There was a point in my life where I decided that I needed to become one. Nobody grows up as a Christian. No one's born a Christian,
What? So you believe this, even though you weren't grown up as a Christian? That can't be. So what happened, Paul, that made you go, this is true. I'm going to put my trust in this.
Well, I was at primary school, and it came to the half-term holidays in Whit in June, and there was a club on that week, and they said, somebody came into the school and said, guys, you know, your week off next week, there's a club on. Just it's on the school field. It's on the field right next to your school field. A big, massive blue tent. Come along in the mornings there, and we'll have some fun. You can learn all about Jesus. So I went along to it, and yeah, it was there that I heard for the first time about Jesus dying for me. And I was a really bad lad at school. I really was, and I knew that the coach.
Wait. Did you hear that, Southport? He said he was a really bad lad. Do we believe him? Look at his angel face. Was he a really bad lad?
I'm looking around for somebody who knew me as long ago as back then, and there isn't anybody, sadly. But there are people who do know me from that time. But if I could bring along, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, who can testify to how bad I was.
But again, you're saying you're a bad lad, but you're still going to heaven.
No, I was a bad lad. Oh, you mean now?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, even though I've been a bad lad and still am bad at times, I am actually going to heaven, yeah.
Wow, so keep going, Paul. What were you saying?
Right, well, yes, so, I mean, I heard that Jesus had died for all the wrong things I'd done, and then I knew that if I put my trust in him, I can be forgiven. So I did that. I prayed with the help of the guys at the front who helped me pray. And when I prayed that prayer, I'm not joking, there was a massive weight lifted. I knew that weight existed, I just didn't know how heavy it was. And I realised it was not just all the things I'd ever done wrong up to that point, it was all the things I ever would do wrong. And as a man who's, 43 years from that day, I've obviously committed more atrocities, well, maybe that's the wrong word, more sins, after that date than I did before that date. And it was that weight of them all gone that I felt so free and peaceful and full of joy.
Wow. Okay, last question, Paul. So we talked about Jota sadly dying in a car crash.
Yeah.
If you were in that car now, Paul, what would happen to you? If you were in Jota's car?
Well, I wouldn't like to say what had happened to my body. I believe it exploded in a fireball after crashing. But I know that my soul, would go straight up to heaven to be with God. And I wait to be reunited with my body when Jesus comes again.
Yeah, and that's nothing to do with what you've done. It's completely on who Jesus is and what Jesus has done.
Totally based on what Jesus has done.
Okay. Would you be happy if people spoke to you and asked you about this?
Absolutely, yeah.
If you've got any questions, Paul, go and speak to Paul. He wants you to find what he has found. That joy, all of that weight being lifted off, all of that certainty of heaven. Paul wants you to find that. Please come and ask for it. Please come and talk to him. Thank you, Paul.